Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Roxana and today is going to be a long video. Instead of making a bunch of videos and separating them in 2 or 3 sections, I decided to just make one, and I am going to put timestamps for when I am doing things. That way you can just jump to that section, or if you're cool, you can just watch the whole video. So today I am going to start a Sweet Alyssum from seed. I'm going to show you how to do that. I am also going to wake up some Dahlia tubers, mainly for taking cuttings so that I can multiply the amount of Dahlia plants that I have this year. And also I am going to start a bunch of herbs: basil, oregano, thyme. I think that's it. If you're new here, I garden in central Indiana in Zone 5, and I grow flowers, vegetables, and in the last couple of years I started growing plants from seed. I have a couple of shelving units in a little corner in one of my bedrooms, and I enjoy sharing with you everything that I'm doing as far as my garden goes. I am not here to teach you. I am not here to tell you what the right way to do things is, because there is no right way, but I am here showing you how I am doing things in my own garden, so hopefully you get inspired and then maybe you can do something on your own. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would love for you to consider maybe doing that today. Okay, so we are going to start with Alyssum. I have tried for the last couple of years starting them from seed, and they are really super easy to do. Let me show you the 2 types that I have for this year. I am going to try Oriental Nights from Botanical Interest. This one is new for me this year. It has this lovely purple color. We'll see how it does for me. And I also got my regular Sweet Alyssum. I think this is the white Alyssum from Johnny's, and I actually purchased the 1 ounce packet. It has a lot of seeds. The amount of seeds here is probably in the thousands, so I am definitely set for the next few years with Sweet Alyssum. So I am going to start these 2 types, and hopefully we get some great results. And the way that I'm going to start them today is using soil blocks. I am going to be using this meat tray that I got from when I purchased meat at my local grocery store. I cleaned the container, I disinfected it, and I actually had my coleus and geraniums here growing. And the size that I'm going to be using for the actual soil blocks is the 3 1/4 inch containers that I have right here. In a couple of videos ago, I showed you the exact mixture that I use for my soil block potting mix, and if you're interested, I'm going to link that video, and also I am going to add links to whatever things I'm using here. So if you do have a question regarding things that I'm using, where I am purchasing them, just check the description. But if you cannot find it there, just leave me a comment below. And the way that I'm going to label my 2 varieties here, I am going to be using this masking tape. I actually got this set in different colors from Amazon. I will add that link in the description as well. But this is working really well for me, and I don't know, I like the colors. The alyssum seeds are really, really small, but they're not that small that you cannot handle them well with your fingers. I know that some people use toothpicks or some other people use the actual seed spreaders, like a little round plastic spreader. I personally just like to use my fingers. They work well. The hardest part is probably just trying to get 2 or 3 seeds in each little soil block. I am going for 2 or 3, but sometimes a few more seeds go there, and that's totally fine. If as all of them germinate in one soil block and I have, I don't know, 5 plus plants in there, then when it's time to move them into a bigger soil block or container, I'll make the decision of either divide it or to just leave it there as it is. But I am going for 2 or 3 seeds here per little soil block. But if you want to do just 1 seed per container per cell, that's totally up to you. Don't forget to label your seeds. I know it is easy to think sometimes that we're going to remember what we started or when we started them, but it's always nice to use some sort of label system to keep track of everything that you start. And I personally like to add the date when I started my plants indoors, just so when I'm giving you an update, it's easy for me to mention that. But also it's a great way to document for future years when I started seeds indoors. And I am just going to add a little bit of the dry mixture on top, just a little bit, just to cover the seeds very gently, not too much, because I'm also going to be adding vermiculite. And yes, I could skip the mix, what I'm doing right now, but just in case. So when you're making your soil blocks, it's always a good idea to just keep a little bit of the mixture dry on the side, just in case you add a little too much water to the mix, or if you need to come here and just apply a little bit. And I don't normally add vermiculite. I don't top my seedlings with vermiculite, but I already have tons of vermiculite, so I already have a huge bag, so might as well use it. And vermiculite helps with holding moisture, and that helps with germination for the seeds, and these guys do dry quite quickly. I have one of those humidity domes, and I am definitely going to cover these guys with those. So I am done with alyssum, and let's move into the herbs that I'm going to be starting today. So let's start with basil now. I have all of these basil varieties. I have 4. These 2 are the ones that I have been doing since I started basil a couple of years ago from seed. Genovese, lovely, and Mamolo. These are older seeds. These are seeds from 2 years ago. I had tons of seeds the first year, so these are definitely ones that I'm going to be using. And I also have been using this purple variety. This is actually a free packet that I got from Baker Creek's, dark purple opal basil. I love it. And the new variety for me is this African nunum, I don't know how you say it, but it looks very neat in the pictures, and I'm excited to try it this year. So I am also going to do soil blocks in this tray from the grocery store, and that's for basil. I am going to start dill as well, and this could be a little bit tricky because dill is one of those seeds that don't like the roots to be messed with. So if you're starting dill, start them a little bit bigger in bigger containers, or in this case, I am going to start them in the 2-inch blocks. So I am going to go with 4 of the 2-inch blocks. I'll show you here in a minute. But dill, I used it last year in flower arrangements. I didn't get to cook with it. I only had 1 plant. I gotta be honest, I didn't take care of it in the last 2 weeks or so. But the 1 plant that survived, the 1 plant that made it was gorgeous. So I am starting 4 plants this year. Hopefully I get all of them in 2-inch containers. And I am starting wild za'atar oregano. I'm excited about that one. Orange yellow thyme. Beautiful, beautiful. And I am trying chamomile. I have never had chamomile plants, or I have never tried them from seed either. So I am excited to try and see how these do. So 3/4 inch soil blacks for this as well. So let me get the soil blacks here going, and then I'll show you how I'm going to do the seeds. So I got my soil blocks and I divided them. I am going to be making 10 for each variety. So let me start with the Mamolo variety. And these are older seeds. These were packaged for 2020. So I am going to go with 2 or 3 seeds at least per cell. And before I move on, I'm going to make sure that I have some sort of labels here. So I got my basil ready to go. I got two to 4 seeds in each container, 2 to 3 seeds. You know, you're never too sure when you're dealing with little, very tiny seeds. So I am going to coat these with vermiculite as well. I have the vermiculite, that's why I'm using it. Otherwise, I will not do it. I already have the vermiculite, and that's why I'm using it. But I normally don't use vermiculite. I am going to do chamomile, thyme, and oregano. Okay, so what I'm going to try to go for is 20 seedlings of chamomile, 5 for thyme, and 5 for oregano. I don't really need that many seedlings for oregano or thyme, and I'll probably only end up using 2 or 3 to be honest, but I like to have extra just in case. So I am going to go for oregano. I am going to go for 2 or 3 seeds. I feel like that's my norm. If I want to have one plant, 2 or 3 seeds is the way to go. These seeds are tiny, you guys. Oregano seeds are so tiny. That's oregano. Go with thyme. And we're gonna go with chamomile. The packet says that chamomile seeds require light to germinate and do not allow them to dry out. So we're going to make sure that that happens. Okay, So again, 2 to 3 seeds. These are tiny. And because these chamomile seeds require light to germinate, I am just barely going to go with vermiculite. Super gently, you guys. Not like we did basil, just very gently. That's it. And the same for this oregano and thyme. That's good, perfect. Oregano, thyme, and chamomile are done. I am going to use my larger soil blacker. Okay, and I don't think that I can fit this here nicely. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just get this tray just to make the blocks. And then I'll just move them into the other tray. So I am just going to scoop. I am sort of helping the soil get inside the containers, the blocks, and when I think I have plenty, I'm just going to trying to compact all that soil in there. Going to make sure that the bottom is nice and clean. This is going to be the bottom of the block, so I want to make sure that it's flat, and if it was chunky or if it had little mountains of soil, I will come with my spatula and clean this nicely. Perfect. So these are older seeds as well. These were from last year. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to start with, you guess, 2 to 3 seeds. But I'm going to spread them around so that if I have to thin them out, then it's easier if they're separated versus if they're one right next to each other. Actually, I'm going to go with 4 seeds because just in case. So very gently, I am going to hold that seed down, very gently. I don't even have to push that hard. And I could use a toothpick, but they're all the way downstairs and I don't really want to. This little tool helps, it works. And this is the dill. I'm going to put a little bit of vermiculite. It's like tapping cupcakes, kind of. And here's the finished dill. Okay, so now we're going to move into trying to wake up some dahlia tubers that I have here. I am using these as an example. If you have a dahlia tuber that you have been saving over winter, right now might be a good time to wake them up, trying to get them to sprout if you want to take cuttings for starting new plants. Normally, I like to wait about a month before my last frost date in order to wake up most of my dahlia tubers. But 2 years ago, about 2 months before my last frost date, I had a lot of success waking up some tubers in order to take cuttings and multiply the amount of plants that I have. I'm going to show you how easy it is. I'm just going to use one one of these guys so that I can show you the process. And I am going to use just one of these little clear containers. I think that I got strawberries here. It's clear. I can use the lid as a humidity dome, so it's perfect. It has holes at the bottom already. It's just perfect for what I need. Okay. Not a lot of great specimens to choose from here. But looks like this guy is the one that is going to do, or the one that we're going to use. Well, I'm gonna actually try this one as well. There we go. So I am going to add a little, so the main thing that I'm going to be used here is potting mix. And I already got it wet, although I think it's a little bit too wet. It's definitely very wet. And I'm going to create a bed for the tubers. I am not looking to bury the tubers completely. I just want to get them going. I'm just cleaning up a little bit because these guys are definitely in very bad shape. Okay. These are definitely not going to be good. Okay. So somewhere like that. Ideally, I would like to use something that it's a little bit wider, but I don't really have anything of the sorts here. Okay, so right there. And I am going to get some of the dry potting mix that I'm using, because I think that I got it just a little bit too wet. And like I said, I don't want to bury the tubers completely, but I do want the tubers to know that it's time for them to start sprouting. Hopefully we can get at least one sprout from this, and I can hopefully show you how to do this successfully. The thing about these tubers, well, it's not gonna be able to close. That's okay. The thing about having a lot of these going at once is that they're going to take a lot of space once the sprouts start taking off, because they're going to need the light just like the rest of your seedlings. So they're going to take a lot of space in on your shelves. So I just want to try one. I just want to get one little container going, because this doesn't take a lot of space versus if I start, you know, like a whole tray or 2 trays of Dahlia tubers. I honestly don't need any of the extras, but I just want to show you. And I wish I would have documented it 2 years ago, but I didn't. But basically, get potting mix, keep it moist, keep it somewhere light. Underneath your grow lights works well, somewhere warm. It will take a couple of weeks for your tubers to get going, but once you see the sprout, we'll wait until they're 2 to 3 inches tall. We'll take a cutting and we'll put it in its own container, and boom, you have a new plant. So hopefully I can give you an update here in a few weeks on how these are going. And I think this is it. I told you it was going to be a long video, so if you stuck with me here for the whole time, awesome. Thank you for being here, you guys, and I hope to see you on the next time.